Last time on The Useless Second Son is doted on by the ruthless Duke. Duke is angry about his engagement being broken off and demands compensation money, which the Viscount does not have, so Duke is like, fine, then send me someone of equivalent value. So Viscount Dad is like, take my useless second son. And this time, basically, MC, who has now been named, MC is Jill. Jill shows up at the Duke's office. Duke is like, cool, starting the paperwork that is literally all over my office. Wait, what did you say your name was? You're the useless second son? Not the servant who's good at math? You know what? Fine. The maid will show you to your room, but after that you need to help with the paperwork. I'll throw you out if you don't work. MC resolves in his heart to work hard because he doesn't have a home to return to, and he thinks it's awesome he gets his own room here. There's clearly starting to be a disconnect in expectations, though, as the Duke had expected him to have attendance, he does not, and the maid had expected him to have more luggage than just a carpet bag, he does not. And that was the end of diary entry number 2, but that is way too short. We're continuing on to diary entry number 3. I know when we left off, the titular pair had sort of met, and the Duke was starting to realize that something was off with the reputation of the useless second son. Now I want to see them take that and turn up to 11. Well, I got exactly what I asked for. Jill is given a bedroom, office, and a pile of paperwork. He pulls an all-nighter and finishes it by the next morning. During the night, though, the maid brings him food, and he's like, you even feed me? And the maid gives him a weird look. In the morning, the maid came to collect the paperwork, but then she has a strange reaction to what he finished. Jill starts freaking out that maybe he was supposed to finish it all by the end of the day yesterday, because anxiety be like that. He starts worrying he'll be kicked out and starts debating whether he should sleep in the nice comfy bed before or try and run away. When the maid comes back and tells him that Rea-sama has summoned him. When they get back to the office, Rea demands to know who helped him and starts yelling at him for sharing confidential documents with outsiders. Jill insists he did them himself without help, but Rea doesn't believe him, picks him up by the throat, and starts strangling him. As Jill starts to black out from lack of oxygen, the maid steps in as a witness that no one was seen going in or out of his room. Rea then gives Jill a chance to prove himself, even though he still doesn't believe him, and drops him to the floor. Then with Jill still gasping for breath, Rea throws a pen and paper at him and demands to see him do the calculations. Jill does it right there on the floor. And then Rea realizes that Jill actually was able to do all the calculations that fast by himself. Jill also lets it slip that he had experience doing that sort of work for his family because he was helping the servant Blanc. Rea then realized that Jill was the one doing his family accounting, not Blanc. Though, from Jill's recollection of the event, he helped Blanc out in exchange for bread when his father was punishing him by forbidding him meals. Rea then bows deeply to Jill and apologizes. Now, the Duke was engaged to Jill's younger sister, so I wonder how much of this misconception is from her shit-talking him, which would be all the more tragic since Jill didn't want his sister to marry the prince she switched to because he thought being married to a womanizer would be an unhappy marriage for her. I am also curious if the sister is going to come back in the picture. And just for a little bit of context, these diary entries were for me to practice my Japanese comprehension, so the format has largely been, I read the thing and then write down what I read. But part of the reason I want to do this series is because I just really enjoyed this one and wanted to fangirl about it for a bit and draw a lot of fan art. I switched from Adobe Illustrator to Clip Studio, and I am currently in love with the watercolor brush and the oil painting brush. Coloring the pictures has switched from being the part I hate to the part I enjoy the most. I'm honestly kind of looking forward to seeing how this world winds up turning out looking with my 500 styles that I'm experimenting with. This is my ending song, it's where my ending goes. If you want to watch something else, click on a video. Do 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 do.